Investment CBS Sports Desk.
Welcome to the Fidelity Investment CBS Sports Desk. Hi, everybody. I'm Ian Eagle. And coming up next, weather permitting, Lindsay Davenport and Venus Williams will meet in the final of the Pilot Penn Championship presented by Michelob Light. Then at 3 Eastern, it's the World Golf Championship NEC Invitational. Robert Allenby shot a course record 63 yesterday to take a share of the lead with Steve Lowry. This is Allenby's third shot on 18. Three-time defending champion Tiger Woods is 6 back. Last night, the Oakland A's won their 10th straight and took over sole possession of first place in the AL West behind John Mabry's 2 home runs. Barry Zito won his 18th of the season. In Colorado, former Met Jay Payton homered to hand New York its 12th consecutive loss. It's the Mets' longest losing streak in 22 years. And yesterday, there seemed to be some optimism that players and management were getting closer to settling their labor dispute. The strike deadline is now 6 days away. That's all for now from the Fidelity Investment CBS Sports Desk. Tennis is next.
This has been the Fidelity Investment CBS Sports Desk.
With the U.S. Open, the toughest tournament in tennis, looming on the horizon, both the current and former champion have their eyes on the prize.
Sail through an empty night. It's only you and I who understand. There is no plan. Get closer to the thrill that only time can kill. It's in your eyes. It's so alive.
Welcome everyone to the championship match of the Pilot Penn presented by Michelob Light. Former champ Venus Williams, the defending champ in fact, and Lindsay Davenport, the top 2 seeds here at the Pilot Penn in the championship match. The weather has been shaky this morning, but for the moment it's clear. That's the good news. Intermittent rain earlier today, but in the Northeast it is clear at the moment for this championship match. Hi everyone, alongside Hall of Famer Pam Shriver, I'm Patrick McEnroe. Now Lindsay Davenport was #1 in the world at the end of last year, but she hurt her right knee at the year-end championships. Well, Lindsay had to have surgery on that knee, but since the injury, she missed 7 months this year, but she's come back extremely strong. I think she's even surprised herself this summer.
I think I'm a lot farther ahead of the game than I really thought I would be or anticipated I would be at this point. After so long away from playing matches and so long away from not even hitting a ball, I really had no idea what to expect, and have been pleasantly surprised over what's happened the 3 weeks in California.
She seems to even have improved, Pam, since she came back and played well at the beginning of the summer. She seems to be playing even better right now.
Well, Patrick, Lindsay has done a fantastic job managing this injury. It was not your average knee surgery. She was on crutches for the first 2 months. Her first 3 tournaments back, she didn't lose before the semifinal. Got to 1 final, should have won LA, had the week off last week and knew she needed to come into this Pilot Penn at a different level, a higher level. She's done that, but whether or not it's at the same level as Venus Williams, we'll find out.
Well, Venus Williams has been extremely dominant on the hard courts in the summertime. In fact, since April, the only person that's beaten Venus has been another Williams, Pam.
Well, there have been a few changes for Venus this year, and obviously losing to her younger sister in the finals of majors has been a big one, but also Venus has been playing more. That's why she's reached the #1 ranking earlier in the year. But she goes into this U.S. Open more hungry. She's not won a major yet in 2002, and she's playing very well.
Venus Williams has been the dominant player on the hard courts the last couple of summers. She's done it here at the Pilot Penn. She's won the U.S. Open the last 2 years, and always here in New Haven has been a stepping stone. She's never lost at the Pilot Penn. She's won it 3 times. She goes for #4 next live.
The 2002 Pilot Penn, a USTA Women's Championship event, is sponsored by Lincoln, enthusiastic and official sponsor of the 2002 U.S. Open. Refresh brand eye drops. Relieve and protect dry, irritated eyes with Refresh. And by Pilot Penn. Think in ink.
Hi, welcome to the 2002 Pilot Penn. We've been writing a bit of history here in Connecticut these past 5 years as our tournament has truly become the premier tune-up for the U.S. Open. This week, we played host to 16 of the top women tennis players in the world. So on behalf of our 1,700 employees all over the globe, we're most proud to welcome you to the 5th edition of Pilot Penn Tennis.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Live now, Venus Williams, the top seed here. And Lindsay Davenport, the number 2 seed in the championship match. Her road to the finals for Venus Williams, Pam.
Well, it's pretty routine there. You can see by the scores. Shaughnessy 6-4 in the second set. Laura Granville, who went to Stanford for a couple of years, someplace familiar to you.
That's right. I can understand that.
Comfortable win in the quarterfinals there. And then last night's semifinal against Hantuchova was a high-quality match. Venus played pretty well, as did Hantuchova. But again, routine score, 3-3.
Venus just recovering the court so well against Hantuchova. And Lindsay Davenport, meanwhile, her road to the championship a little bit tougher, but she still hasn't lost a set, Pam.
Well, Tulia Ganova is a very good player, and that was a tough match there. Maresmo won the tournament last week in Canada, was playing well, beat Capriati in the finals there. So for Lindsay to beat Maresmo and then Meskina, who'd taken out Justinena and Hingis in back-to-back matches, Lindsay's played her best 2 matches during this comeback in the last 2.
Yes. Lindsay Davenport in excellent condition coming back in the chair. Christina Lawson will be in charge of this one. Crowd just continuing to stream in now with the weather being a bit dodgy this morning. They start to fill up quickly. There have been excellent crowds all week here in New Haven. Head-to-head, they've met a few times, 10-10 overall, but it's been Venus that's dominated recently.
Lindsay's only won once since 1999, so that's 7 of 8 wins for Venus. But the first 9 meetings, all but 1 went Davenport's way. So it's important for Davenport to try and get a win soon over Venus so she can sort of turn the psychological tables on their rivalry.
What's changed so much, Pam, in the years? Is it just Venus has gotten more consistent, playing matches a little bit better?
Absolutely. It's her game that has picked up during this rivalry. She's cut down on her unforced errors. Her second serve has become less of a liability, and she plays the whole court so much better. She's become a much more savvy, strategic-minded player.
Venus Williams set to start the proceedings here. She's beaten Davenport 2 different times in the final here. The other year she took out Monica Seles, going for number 4 in a row.
One of the patterns of the Venus matches is she tends to give her opponent some openings early, and this is where Lindsay really needs to try and get on top in the first few games.
So you try that drop shot often, especially against Lindsay, who doesn't move that well forward, but that time didn't pull it off.
Let's face it, a drop shot the second point of a final is not that easy.
22 years of age, born out in Southern California now. Williams is residing in Palm Beach Gardens in Florida.
Wow.
Fairly impressive numbers all the way through. Look at that, 53-6 this year. Truly where Lindsay will need to take some chances, Pam, on that second serve of Venus.
Yeah, Venus has 2 kinds of second serves. That last one was the good one. Had pretty decent pace, mid-80s, jumped up a bit high on Lindsay.
15-30.
And I'm sure we'll see a couple of the other second serve, which is really her head comes down and she kind of bends at the waist, and she can hit some lower speed serves that Lindsay should really capitalize on.
Couple of break points for Davenport, first game. Lindsay's 26 now, from Southern California. That's where she still resides. And coming off that knee surgery at number 10 in the rankings. Oh, beautifully done by Davenport.
Lindsay Davenport dropped weight during her 7 months rehabilitation. She did a lot of work, and also she really corrected her diet. And these are the kind of shots that really helps. You can see the speed that Davenport possesses that she didn't a couple of years ago.
She got to that point, got to that ball easily. So an early break for Davenport. I was speaking to her coach, Lindsay's coach, Robert Vantoff, who was a former tour player on the men's side. He's been with Lindsay for a long time. He said, yes, she really hit the gym hard while she was recovering from that knee surgery. Spent a lot of time getting herself into great shape. There's Robert.
Venus has a look down on her baseline. She thought that Davenport's first shot after the serve was long.
15 all. Well done by Davenport.
See Venus running wide. She gets to more wide balls than anybody. But Davenport playing the all-court game here. Got to play a good transition game with Venus. You got to take advantage of those few floaty shots.
Tournament 4 straight times, Pam, was Monica Seles when she won the Canadian Open between 95 and 98. And going down my list here of these greats, Tracy Austin, Chris Evert did it, and Pam Shriver at Birmingham on the grass 4 straight years.
Yeah, pretty surprised. Mine was on a grass court, huh? Also, it was a tier 3 event, different from this. This is tougher. This is a tier 2.
First double for Davenport, still game point.
These are all vital points, much more so for Davenport because it's been so long that since she's beaten Venus. It's been a couple of years.
Davenport holds on, 2 games to love. Remember, tomorrow, host Summer Sanders and MTV's Caduce join Andre Agassi, Serena Williams, Andy Roddick, and music superstars Mario and BBMAK at Arthur Ashe Kids Day, presented by Aetna. And of course, preview show celebrating New York. Join myself, Dick Enberg, and Mary Carrillo for that.
Tell you what, you know you're getting older when you really don't know any of the music groups that are going on it.
I'm reading this card. I'm thinking, who are these guys?
What do you think I'm saying?
15 love.
Lindsay missed the second shot, but I'll tell you that first return is vintage Davenport. Hard, firm, down the middle. She used to do this so well. And it really puts Venus on the defensive, and Lindsay should have converted that forehand, but because Venus is quick, what do? Go for more.
That time she converts, another big return.
These two played a couple of weeks ago in Carlsbad, and Venus stayed with Venus early, and then Lindsay just kind of went away. This time it's a different attitude. She's more eager. She's coming in more.
It turned out to be a routine win there out in California. Venus won that 6-2, 6-1. And Lindsay playing with a lot more confidence right now. Game points for Williams. So Venus holds on, with Davenport up the early break in the finals live at the Pilot Penn. Well, I'm sure if we run out of material, Pam, we could get this man, funny man, Gene Wilder, to tell a few jokes along with the tournament chairman, Ann Worcester there.
Ann Worcester does a great job each year at this tournament. As you know, Patrick, it's not always easy to get top players to play the week before a major, and this field is the strongest of any of the tournaments the week before majors, and it's because of the proximity to New York City and because of the great job that Ann Worcester and her team does here.
Conditions very similar, the same surface, same balls. Oh, good hands from Davenport.
And it was a love 15 point, and Lindsay desperately needs to continue to hold serve to keep some pressure on Venus. And here was a big volley, played a little behind her. She was covering the cross court.
That's where the two hands helps. 15-all. Only win that Lindsay's had over Venus in the last couple of years was in Linz in Austria, indoors on a carpet surface, relatively quick.
It was just after the U.S. Open a couple of years ago. Venus was on a long win streak.
That's where Lindsay struggles on the run.
I think one of the shots Lindsay can develop late in her career is the one-handed slice. I've seen it a couple of times this week, and she's actually pretty good at hitting it, and there may have been an opportunity.
A couple of break points. Get back on serve for Venus. What coverage there from Venus to stay in that point. Back on serve at 2 apiece, first set.
Can't tell you how heavy these balls are coming across the net. The reach from Venus here, the save, the fastest 6'1" women player ever. And that's my height, and believe me, I was way down the list. But yeah. Davenport here, the same kind of reach, can't get there because of the footwork.
Slice forehand there from Venus. That's not going to get it done against Lindsay.
Yeah, it looked like she was almost going to play the drop shot and then kind of changed her mind. Missed one in the first game.
Even so far in all departments. One break each player, 2-all. Love 15. Better second serve there. Good depth on that one.
Still, that's a return Lindsay would kind of kick herself for not making it love 15.
Will she accept a few more unforced errors, Pam? Lindsay, I'm talking about, knowing that she has to do more?
Yeah, I think she's very savvy out there. She knows that she's going to have to gamble, and when you gamble, you miss more. I like how much Davenport's coming to net. She's 5 of 6 when she's come to the net. Only in 4 games. She needs to keep that ratio up.
15-30. Comes in again with the swinging volley.
This has become such a popular shot in women's tennis. The big swing. You no longer see as many conventional punch volleys. It's the full-blooded topspin, and it gets cross court in a hurry.
Volleying like that has brought her 31 doubles titles. Lindsay Davenport.
Including Wimbledon a couple years ago with Karina Marariu, who's coming back. What a great story. She plays Serena first round at the Open.
Going back from her cancer treatment, so she'll take on Serena Williams in the opening round at the Open. Great to see Karina back and healthy. Still break point. Another winner at the net, and Lindsay has Venus Williams scrambling. 3-2, another break for Davenport. Another swinging volley puts Lindsay up a break again. Lindsay Davenport up a break again at 3-2. From Davenport there. Just a moment ago, Richard Williams got, I guess, got an urgent phone call. They're watching his daughter. He's been known to come and go quite often, Pam.
He's a busy man. Wasn't at the French or Wimbledon. The mom, Brandy Williams, who also serves as coach for Venus and Serena, was there both majors. Actually, all three majors so far. Also, the Australian Open, which, by the way, is the only major that has escaped the Williams sisters.
Probably because they don't play enough matches leading up to it. They take all that extended break. Although this year they did go down earlier and play a warm-up or two.
Venus won her first of 6 titles so far this year down at the Gold Coast 2 weeks before the Australian Open. Then Serena badly sprained her ankle in Sydney the week before the Australian and missed the Australian. Otherwise, could we be seeing a Grand Slam run at the Open?
Second serve jams Venus, so a love game for Davenport on serve. Complete year-round sports coverage, including breaking news and the best fantasy games on the internet. Go to cbssportsline.com or on America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Oh, that's nicely done.
Patrick, that point, too, started with a second serve from Venus, and she's winning many more points on her second serve than her first serve. She's only won 3 of 10 when she gets the first serve in. And Davenport's not liking the spin on the second, but that backhand down the line, that's what wins that point.
Into freebie there with a good first serve, does Venus. Quickly to 30 love. Seems like it takes her some time often in matches, Pam, Venus, to get that rhythm going on the serve.
Well, Venus doesn't have the smoothest of motion. If you want the smoothest motion in the Williams family, you've got to see Serena's serve. And I just think Venus, it takes a little while for kind of the rhythm and for it to get in sync. In sync, I think that was a group that was at Arthur Ashe.
They might have been there a couple years ago.
It's the last one I knew.
Still game points for Venus Williams. In sync in that service games. Lindsay Davenport still up a break 4-3. CBS Sports coverage of Pilot Penn tennis will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to the championship of the Pilot Penn, everyone, from campus of Yale University. Richard's back, but still on the phone.
Hope he has that maximum minutes plan, whatever it is, 2,000 minutes.
Somehow I don't think he's going to be too concerned about those bills. Davenport up a break, 4-3. She's broken Venus twice in this set. Venus able to get the break back once.
That's such a great serve for both Venus and Lindsay. The swinger out wide on the deuce side. Venus has used it particularly well at Wimbledon when she won it twice.
Yeah, that's her favorite serve, isn't it, Pam? And that one that slides away from the forehand of Venus.
Yeah, the Davenport serve, she prefers to go to the forehand of the righty on both corners, but she knows she's got to mix it up a little bit more.
She held serve at love in the last game, and now she's a point away from that again.
And having these kind of cheap service games are so important when you play Venus Williams. You can't struggle every single game. You'll lose the battle.
Well, another impressive serve game for Lindsay Davenport. 5-3 first set.
Just smacking the ball, both feet off the ground, paints the baseline. Let's see whether it landed just in or on. Wow, that is a beautiful forehand.
That's where we need the Mac cam right there. The first serve from Venus gets her to 15 love.
For today, let's face it, it's named after you, not the other
Of course,
Mac.
that's right. The P-Mac cam today, just for today. Good coverage and a little bit of luck for Venus there.
And Davenport's just got to shake that point off because she did everything well. She came to net with a volley. She was forcing Venus to have to come up with a pass. Perhaps she could have done a little bit more closer to the sideline with a swinging volley, but that one clips the net. Look for Davenport to stay positive throughout this match. If she can do that, she has even a better chance to win.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot by Venus on the move.
Venus sending a little message here that she's starting to get her game together the last couple of points. So this is going to put pressure on Davenport. This game is 40 love, so it's probably going to get down to 5-4.
Oh, little flick with the two-hander there. Still game points for Venus. She's got it on the line. So Venus holds on, and when we come back, Lindsay Davenport will be serving for the first set in the championship final here from New Haven.
Ask your doctor about Vioxx, a prescription medicine from Merck. And find out if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx.
Coming up next, CBS Sports coverage of the World Golf Championships. NEC Invitational continues with third-round play from Sahalee Country Club. Tigers trying to do there what Venus is trying to do here, win it for the fourth straight time. But he's 6 strokes back. Steve Lowry and Robert Allenby in front.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Tiger had a brother?
It would be something.
That's what women's tennis is faced with.
A shaky start for Davenport, who held serve at love the last 2 times she served. Unforced error, love 15. There's the one you're talking about, Pam, mixing it up, going out wide.
You've got to figure, if you're Venus and you play Davenport as much as she has, that you have to hedge a little to the right. You're just feeling it's got to go there. No wonder the backhand corner catches you. When it's a point in a track meet in one, advantage Williams. That last point an example. Lindsay was not set enough to hit her big ground strokes, could not climb on top of the rally, and was forced into the error.
And Venus just toughening up here, trying to stay in this first set. Again, great coverage from Venus, sets up 2 break points.
Now, here's what you have to be careful with the net, that your racket doesn't hit the net.
Starting to sneak in a little bit more, though, isn't she, Venus?
Following Lindsay's lead.
And the unforced error, so back on serve at 5 apiece in the opening set. Last year, in fact, it went to the first set tiebreak between these two. Venus Williams taking the initiative here. What a stretch volley there. She won that first set 8-6 in the tiebreak and then went on to win it in straight sets 6-4 in the second.
Tell you what, just missed, and it was 115 mile-an-hour first serve. Lindsay has a couple of words. Christina Olofsson in the chair.
Biggest serve of the day so far.
Important for Lindsay to stay up, stay positive during this little run by Venus. During this comeback, and it's very typical when you've been out of the game for a while, Lindsay has had trouble closing out sets, serving for the set. She served for the match also in Los Angeles, the championship against Chanda Rubin in the finals, who incidentally played a fantastic final.
What a great run she had, beating Serena along the way. Chanda.
Rubin and Davenport in the same rehab center in Vail, Colorado, the same month, last January.
Swinging serve from Venus. 30-15. Seems like she's starting to find that rhythm now on the first serve. Another good one wins her a cheap point.
I think Lindsay's looking at the service call perhaps, but I like the fact that Davenport is a yard or so beyond the baseline, returning the big serve, whereas last night Hantukova was on the baseline. It was not enough time for her.
Lindsay unhappy with that call on the service line. First serve for Venus. quickly overruled by the chair umpire. Lindsay's going to maybe have a little chat.
Not a whole lot going Davenport's way.
Wow, that one not even close.
Actually, there were 2 balls in a row that were very close. I have a feeling that was the second one and not the one that was overruled.
No argument from Venus Williams. Replay the point, still game points.
Shows you how deep Davenport hits it when she's on her game.
Drops over.
Lindsay probably feels she needed a little bit of luck. Feels like some of the line calls the last couple of games, and maybe that'll help her realize it's not all going her opponent's way right now.
Now Venus says, it's my turn to complain. And she smiles and shakes it off.
See Lindsay there just trying to fight a bee.
Oh, tough one to miss there for Lindsay Davenport, who just a moment ago was serving for the first set. Now she'll serve to try to stay in the first set and take it to a tiebreak.
The Pilot G2 pen with smooth gel ink and 12 vibrant colors makes everything a masterpiece. Ugh. Think in ink.
It's like
Welcome back. Venus Williams up 6-5 first set. Davenport serving. There's the speed of Venus, but Lindsay's there for that one.
What a fun point to watch. Davenport started off with her favorite serve out wide, pushed Venus out of the court. That one could have been closer to the sideline, but Lindsay staying true to her strategy, comes to net. And even though Venus is able to hustle here, look at this, no one else would get that, perhaps except her younger sister.
Well, there's where the speed hurts and kills you. You try to hit it too good there.
It's hard to do, and you do press, but what you need to realize is if Davenport hits her regular backhand approach up the line, Venus has to come up with a pressure forehand pass, which is not her favorite shot.
15-all. Oh, that's just too good there.
Run around the forehand to blast a backhand. Through the years, women's tennis used to seeing someone like Graf who would do the reverse, sprint around a backhand and smack the big forehand.
Lindsay in trouble again on serve, 15-30.
And Venus has been perfect on her break point opportunities in this match. Considering the 2 sets 3 weeks ago that Venus really destroyed Davenport, already there is a moral victory for Davenport in this first set. She'd like to go one further.
Oh, well done by Lindsay there on the move. She's able to connect with the two-hander.
Coming in on the serve, perhaps a little bit of a delayed reaction, and the line is open as Venus chose to cover more of the cross court.
Game point, Davenport. Again, she blasts that two-hander to set up the easier one around the net.
All these are just huge points. A point to send this first set into a tie break, and Venus is the one that works her way to net on the Davenport serve. loving this first set.
Another game point to take this to the tiebreak. Almost sense that coming, Penn, because Venus is just putting so much pressure on Lindsay in each of these rallies. Only the second double for Davenport.
Well, she decided to go cross court with that pass, and Venus gets in so tight to the net so quickly on the approach that finding the cross court is not easy. I think the down the line one is a better opportunity.
Set point for Venus. Oh, she's got the cross court pass. Venus Williams was down a break at 2 different times in this championship match, but what a set of tennis, and Venus on the run wins the first set 7-5. Second set, second serve. Smart play from Venus there, just getting the ball low, not going for the winner. Can Lindsay put up as good a fight in set number 2, Pam, is now the question. Venus just was almost like a switch there when she was down that break, when Lindsay was serving for the set, that she just upped her level.
She's been doing that now for a couple of years. And the only time she's really struggled in raising the gear is when recently she's been playing her younger sister.
And especially in the U.S. hard courts. I mean, over the last 3 years, she's 62-2. That's just scary. Of course, includes 3 titles here, 2 titles at the U.S. Open.
These two have been the best hard court players the last few years. Davenport has won so many of the Southern California swing tournaments as well. Davenport has won 16 hard court titles to 15 for Venus.
Of course, won the U.S. Open with Lindsay back in '98. Excuse me, Penn. It sure is nice to see Lindsay back because, as you know, she's one of the few that really can match the Williams, at least in the power department.
Another player coming back, former #1, former U.S. Open champ in '97, Martina Hingis. Of course, does not have the kind of power that Davenport has. It's going to take Hingis a little longer to hit stride. Hingis started her comeback a couple of weeks after Davenport, but was out a shorter period of time.
Lindsay going for the winner, but overhitting, so Venus holds on. Start off set number 2. 5 straight games for Venus. And speaking of Martina Hingis, Pam, earlier today she was out on the practice court here in New Haven.
Yeah, this was about 9 o'clock this morning, so our cameras were up bright and early, and Mom Melanie Molitor was out there conducting the practice, and Martina was hitting with another one of the WTA Tour players. And this afternoon I'll head down south to the city.
As we all will for the big party that is the U.S. Open.
One more thing on Hingis before we get back to this match. Hingis lost a couple of nights ago to Anastasia Meskina after being up a set and 4-1 and a point for 5-1, and that is typical of your first few tournaments back. You just don't put away matches.
She doesn't want to remember that Australian Open final. Venus doing it in the break point department, very evenly matched. In fact, though, good numbers from both players. Just it was Venus playing better at the bigger moments that made the difference. Well, Now Lindsay's starting to look a little frustrated, Pam.
Yeah, this is where you just gotta find a way to have a new life, a second win. You cannot let this slip away early in the second.
Break points, second serve.
On the baseline, almost looked like a cricket shot for those of you at home who know what that looks like. Davenport was trapped. Look at that shot there. Bunted it down the line, and sometimes points like that can ignite something, but only if Davenport can dig out of this 15-40 hole now.
You giving cricket references because there's maybe a baseball strike coming up, Pam? Is that? Uh-oh. Double fault for Lindsay, so a quick break. Her third double for Davenport. Thursdays this fall on CBS. Every 30 seconds, someone disappears. You read the stories of families torn apart. Now meet the team who can find the missing and bring them home without a trace. Thursdays this fall after CSI. Heat there from Williams on that forehand.
And on the serve, 116. She holds the all-time record, 127. There you can see it on the MPH board.
She's looking like she might run away with this second set. Last year was 7-6, 6-4 in the final here between these two.
Mistakes that you used to see a lot more often from Venus Williams. She sometimes has trouble handling the big power, as anybody does, but she's improved in that area.
A lot more errors coming from Davenport, especially here early in this set.
See these two big power hitters playing, that when they're in the middle of a rally, their whole point is to try and keep the pressure on the opponent, keep hitting the ball deep, keep hitting it close to the sideline, don't allow the opening, so therefore you make more errors.
30 all.
Davenport would be desperate to get to a break point opportunity.
And there's that slice you're talking about, Pam, but that one didn't bite enough, and Venus able to handle it.
Now there is the one-hander. You can see it's floaty. It is down the middle, which usually takes away the angle. Could have been perhaps a little deeper. Is struggling with her backhand 3 or 4 times in the match after she's missed a backhand. She's sort of done a little shadow practice swing. Not quite sure what she's trying to say. Perhaps put a little bit of top spin on it.
She's such a perfectionist out there. I mean, she's really critical of herself. Even as she's playing now, I think about as well as she can play. The frustration from Lindsay showing there.
It's a ball into the far stands.
Another game point.
Wasn't blasted though. It was more just sort of like a high lob that went a little too deep. There's one of those second serves talked about earlier. The ball drops low. The 6'1" body becomes about 5'6". She collapses on it.
Well, the good news for her, Penn, only her first of the match.
And look how she follows it up. I mean, on the double fault, a lot of times players will be a little shy. You can see here the body bend. Just, there you go. See, she knows it. She's so aware now. A couple of years ago, she wasn't that aware.
Much more mature out there in the way she plays the points. She just said a couple of years ago, she said, I just made too many errors. I decided I had to change it. And she did.
What happened to the rest of us?
Well, change that one. Another double fault.
It could also be where the toss is. It would be interesting to see if on her good second serves, if the toss isn't a little more in front, a little more to the right. Could get too far behind her. Okay, big opening for Davenport here. She's been given the opportunity with 2 double faults. That last wild forehand, she needs to capitalize.
Well, on the break point, Venus is too solid there. Good first serve and another big backhand.
In the body language, when Venus hits a couple of bad double faults in a forehand that sails way out, she regroups much better. Her body language turns positive in the next point, whereas Lindsay gets a little dragged down by things when the momentum's not her way.
The momentum is clearly with Venus Williams now. First set, 7-5. And Venus now up 3-love, just a couple of games away from her 4th straight title here. Another great crowd here at the Pilot Penn, just under 10,000 last night for the Venus Williams Daniela Hantuchova semifinal, and Venus in a serious role, winning the last 7 games.
It's pretty frightening for the opponent to see Venus Williams on a roll like that. It's very tough to win points when she gets stingy. But there was that opening in the last game. Break point to get back on serve.
Venus Williams has never lost a match at this tournament. She's beaten Lindsay twice in the finals here. She beat Monica Seles once as well. Lindsay really falling apart now.
4th double fault. Service percentage is really diving in this set. It's only 43%. She actually hasn't won a point on her first serve in this set.
Oh, that is just a rocket there.
Maybe that's why she hasn't won a point on the first serve in this set. Obviously, it's just her 2nd service game, though, so not a lot. Got to locate that swinger further up the line. That's better. See, now that serve out wide for the right-hander is much harder because the slice does not help you. But that is as good as you can do. And then hit into the open court behind Venus.
Still break points for Venus. She's 4 for 6 so far.
By the way, when I see Venus Williams play, can't help but to think about someone who came before Venus, Althea Gibson, who has a birthday tomorrow. I wish Althea Gibson, a great champion in the late 50s, early 60s. Very happy birthday. Many happy returns.
Well done by Lindsay to stay in this game. Another good serve set up that easy forehand.
Davenport's gotten better at the scrambling, but boy, it's not her game. She almost was able to flick that forehand back. She was in desperate, no time to do anything.
Venus just doesn't let you off the hook when she gets you on the run. Break point. There it is, a second break for Venus Williams. Another good return. Now Venus cruising. Tomorrow hosts Summer Sanders and MTV's Caduce. Will join Agassi, Serena, Andy Roddick, music superstars Mario, BB Mac, Arthur Ashe Kids Day presented by Aetna. It's a fun, festive day, warming up for the big U.S. Open.
Hard to believe it's been almost 10 years since we lost Arthur.
Speaking of great African Americans in the tennis world, Althea and Arthur certainly did so much, not only for the game, but for life. Love 30. Disgruntled Davenport.
Venus still is signaling with her left hand. She wants to keep it up. She knows she's ducking her head down.
You just see the belief isn't there right now for Davenport. Even when she gets up in a game, even when she had that break point.
Yeah, in the last 3 games, Davenport has had chances to win each of them.
Oh, that's a nasty serve sliding out wide there. Only the first ace.
That is so far up the sideline. Look at that. That's almost halfway between the service line and the net. No chance.
Game point. Another big serve. So Venus running away with this championship final. She's a game away from her 4th straight win at the Pilot Penn. Welcome back. Venus Williams now 1 game away. And for more sports news and info, cbssportsline.com.
Well, Davenport's taking a stroll over there. That's very near where Robert Van Hoff, her coach, is, and she's been known to sort of say a few things, what she thinks about her game at the moment. Probably wouldn't be too good.